Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for joining my meeting today. So today we are going to talk about an interesting topic called karma and karmic debt. Now, this topic has been requested by a member. Okay, I think it's very interesting, so I'm going to talk about it today. Now, before going into this topic, I would like first to talk about life and death. Because without understanding life and death and the eternal existence of life, it will be hard to understand karma and karmic debt. So let's talk about first life and death. In Buddhism, death does not spell the ending of life, but a new beginning. When a person dies, his body decays, but his spirit is dormant, and when the circumstances are right, it will be reborn. Most probably not as the same person, same gender, nor in the same place, and even could be in a different form of life. This is very scientific because the law of physics tells us that life is all but energy. It can be transferred between objects and can also be converted in form. It cannot, however, be created nor destroyed. Cycles of life and death can be likened to the alternating periods of sleep and wakefulness. Just as sleep prepares us for the next day's activity, death can be seen as a state in which we rest and replenish ourselves for new life. Thus, death should be acknowledged, along with life, as a blessing to be appreciated. The Lotus Sutra states that the purpose of existence, the eternal cycles of life and death, is for living beings to enjoy themselves. It further teaches that sustained with faith and practice enable us to know a deep and abiding joy in death as well as in life, to equally enjoy ourselves in both. Nichiren describes the attainment of this state as the greatest of all joy. Understanding the principle of life and death, that life is eternal, and our life does not end when we die, we can now further discuss karma. Now, having talked about life and death, in my family group chat, there recently is a post about the death of Queen Elizabeth's husband, and my family seemed to be a bit upset. And I told them, what's that? So I said to them, what is there to upset about? He had a good life, all his life. And now he's getting old, it's time to go and maybe come back again. So what is there so unhappy about? Anyway, this is how I see life and death now. Now, so we go on to say, what is karma? Karma is often described as the universal principle of cause and effect. Our actions, both good and bad, come back to us in the future, helping us to learn from life's lessons and become better people. In religion, that includes reincarnation. Karma extends through one's present life and all past and future lives as well. Buddhism teaches the principle of karma, that many events and conditions we experience in this lifetime result from actions we have made in previous lives. Karma is a Sanskrit word that means action. It explains the workings of cause and effect that transcend the boundaries of life and death. Our actions of thought, speech, and behavior are like seeds that become implanted in our lives. These causes can remain dormant as latent effects in current and future lifetimes. At certain times, under certain conditions, however, these reveal themselves as manifest effects, results, or karmic rewards or debts we experience in a tangible way. Karma, then, is the accumulation of actions from previous existence that remain dormant within us until they appear as effects in this lifetime. Everything that you do is conditioned by the past, which forms a behavioral pattern that affects all your actions and bring forth different results. And this is your karma. Now, please note that karma is not always bad, and there are good karma also. It all depends on what you have done in the past to earn what you are having now. Okay, now, an interesting topic which I think no one has ever talked before, as far as I know. It's called karmic debt, D-E-B-T. So what is karmic debt? Now, karmic debt is the same as financial debt in the material world. They are the elements that remain or implanted in our soul whenever we take advantage of or hurt someone, or force someone to grant favor to us, or indulge in acts like killing, stealing, plundering, or corruptions. These elements may, in short run, bring us happiness and pleasures and luxuries at the time, but are actually a loan, L-O-A-N, or debt, D-E-B-T, that will bring us pain and misery in future and cause a lot of difficulties. For example, if you borrow $1 million from someone and was unable to repay, so you owed this person a debt. Well, you may think, if I die, I don't have to repay. Well, does that mean that your debt is cleared because of your death? No, because we have just talked about the eternity of life. You will carry this debt with you in your next life, because lives are all linked. Given the right circumstances, you will meet your debtor again, who will make you repay in one way or other. You may not recognize your debtor, but because you owe this debtor something, he or she will appear in your life and make you repay. Well, you can say that, hey, it's not fair. I don't remember owing this guy any money. Now you are talking about this life. So look at the example. You borrowed money from a friend, and then overnight, you have lost your memory and do not remember you borrowed money from your friend. So does that mean that you do not owe this friend any money? No. You may forget, but your debtor will not forget. And although you have lost your memory, your debtor will chase you for the money, even though you cannot remember. This is the law of cause and effect. So it's no use to say, I can't remember what I did in my past life. Because at the time of your action in your past life, you did know what you were doing. And this action stays in your spiritual essence, like an invisible memory disk. So let me tell you my own experience. In my life, I have had a lot of bad relationships with men who relied on me to help them build their businesses and wealth. But instead of appreciating, they harassed, cheated, and betrayed me. And some of them even abused me, causing me a lot of pain. I was also bullied and harassed by my ex-mother-in-law. I helped her son to build his business, and despite my very poor physical condition at the time, and with tremendous effort, I gave her a much-wanted grandson. When I had enough and decided to divorce, she came to my home and said, "Would you reconsider?" And of course I would not. And failing that, she did say, "I know Lydia have come to my home to repay your debt." And then you know what I replied? I said, "I have now repaid all my debts. This is why I'm leaving your family now." If your debt is clear, then you will leave. It's that simple. You will be relieved of your suffering. A long time ago, before I practiced Nichiren Buddhism, I went to see a psychic who, after reading my birth dates and without me telling her my background and stories, just told me that in my past life, I was a man. She then went on to say that in my past life as a man, I had hurt a lot of women. This is why in this life, they come back to make me suffer. This was the debt I owed them. Well, to be honest, I had no doubts in her words, because in this life, I do have the character of a man, making quick, decisive decisions, very determined, face my problems squarely, and ensure I take actions to achieve my goals. So an advice, in future, before we act or do something, please think carefully, and don't think that you can get away without repaying, even after you die. This is what we call karmic debt. So, can karma be changed? Changing one's karma involves all kinds of problems and suffering, some of which are clearly the results of actions and choices we have made in this lifetime. But we also face problems for which we cannot identify the cause, or have forgotten about the cause. At such times, we may think, I haven't done anything wrong. Why should I have to suffer like this? From the perspective of Buddhism, we can regard this latter kind of suffering as a result in this present life of negative actions we have taken in past existences. Our actions in past lifetimes have the power to influence whether we are happy or unhappy in this life, constitute our karma from past lifetimes or destiny. Though this karma may be either good or bad, most often it refers to bad karma, the accumulation of negative causes from past lives, resulting in suffering in the present. Buddhism expounds the three existences of life and cause and effect spanning the three existences. That is, it views life as not limited to the present existence, but a continuum extending from past lives to the present and on to future lives. Actions made in the past existences form causes, which appear as effects or results in the present existence. An action taken in the present create causes that will bring about effects in future existences. If one has created bad causes in the past life, then one will experience the results of those causes in this life as suffering. Whereas if one has formed good causes in past life, this will bring about pleasant effects in this life, such as good fortune, peace, and happiness. Give you an example. My bad relationships with men made me suffer, but I also have a lot of nice male friends who act as my Shoten Sanjin or guardian angels. One especially who helped me to build up my interior design businesses and helped me to build up my wealth, and he asks for nothing in return. We are still very good friends up till now, and this is my good karma. So this is the general description of casuality found in Buddhism, which underlies the concept of karma. According to this view, however, if we should become aware of the causes of our present suffering, we could do little to resolve it in this lifetime. This is what the previous Buddhism teaching says. As long as the two causes from past lifetimes remain, we will experience suffering. Moreover, these causes will be cleared up only after they produce effects. In that case, all we can do is to wait for one bad cause and then another to produce its effect until all the bad causes are realized and are exhausted, and then taking care not to produce any more bad causes. But this would take innumerable lifetimes. As such, this perspective of karma inspires little hope for improving our lives, and worse, it may lead us to simply resign our lives to our fate. Nichiren Daishonin, however, teaches that by chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo and practicing Nichiren Buddhism, we can lessen our karmic effect and change our karma. Nichiren Buddhism is a teaching that enables people to transform their lives at the deepest level, break through the limitations of karma or destiny, and open a way forward. It is a teaching of changing one's karma for the better and securing a truly happy state of life that will endure long into the future. So, let's talk a little bit about Nichiren Buddhism then. We are going to talk about lessening one's karmic retribution. So what is the meaning of lessening karmic retribution? Well, this can be explained in our simple daily bank accounting. In our bank statement or bank account, we have credit and debit. So if we are heavy on debit, what we can do is to work hard to increase the credit, to work hard and make more money and put in the bank, and then the debit will be lowered or even cleared. As mentioned above, our good deeds in this lifetime, chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, taking faith in the Gohonzon, and encourage others to practice Nichiren Buddhism, will create all the good causes in your life, like making money and adding credits in the bank account, and thereby you can reduce your debts or debits. Well, let me give you an experience to further explain in simple terms about karmic retribution. 20 years ago, 3 months after I started chanting, I went to carry out a decoration project in a commercial building in Guangzhou. At that time, I knew nothing about Buddhist theory. I only knew that chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo is powerful. And there, I came across the building engineer called Mr. Lau. He was very nice and helpful to me. One evening, we were both working late and started talking. I saw that there were a lot of black shadows on his face. To the Chinese, having black shadows on your face means very bad luck. I then taught him to chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. He happily took it on, saying that he found that the building we were walking in is haunted. Now, this is what he said, all right? A couple of days later, on a Saturday morning, before I returned to Hong Kong, I heard the bad news that Mr. Lau had a terrible car accident and was in the hospital. I was unable to get more details then because my bus was leaving. Since returning to Hong Kong, not knowing the principles of Buddhism, I became very anxious and worried. I was thinking whether chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo had caused his accident. Now, for this reason, I would really encourage everyone to spend time learning our Buddhist theories, so you will not be as ignorant as I was at the beginning. This is to help yourself and others. And please do not just blindly chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. We have to know why Nam-myoho Renge-kyo is powerful. What is Nam-myoho Renge-kyo? And what is life and death? We have to know all this. So a couple of months later, I returned to Guangzhou for another project. At that time, I was quick to see Mr. Lau because I wanted an answer. I was all prepared for him to scold me for teaching him chant and causing this accident. To my surprise, he said, "Yes, fortunately, after talking to you, I started chanting. At the time of the accident, I was riding a motorbike and was hit by a big truck. At that time, I felt a very strong force carried me away, and I landed on the ground far away from the truck. My muscles on my arms were all ripped and torn. He lost all the muscles. But he said my whole body, my head, spine, bones were intact. I looked at his face, and the black shadows were gone. I was so much relieved. This experience tells me that he was bound to have a serious accident by looking at the black shadows on his face. But chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, instead of brain or spine damage, broken legs or arms. He has just lost muscles on his arms. So this is the protection and blessing he got from chanting, reducing heavy to minor injuries. Concerning this principle of lessening one's karmic retribution, the Daishonin says, the sufferings of hell will vanish instantly. The moment our evil karma is eliminated, we become free from the worst kind of suffering in this and future existences. Hardships become important opportunities to rid ourselves of past negative karma and to forge our lives. Now, having said the above, I would like to add one more point. The sufferings we are facing right now might not be just what we have done in our past life. It could be what we have done or not have done in this life. Take me, for example. When both my children were very young, I was busy with work, and other than providing them with all material needs, I was very strict, often criticized, and did not spend time to coach them and encourage them. And as a result, both my children had gone astray and were very defensive and offensive towards me, and we had very bad relationships. Fortunately, I had learned from Nichiren Buddhism as to how to change my behavior towards them. And now, I'm glad to say after 2 loving and supporting children. So it is also very important for us to know what we have done wrong in this life and have the courage, wisdom, and determination to change the situation. In summary, even though we may be facing heavy karma, which makes us suffer, please do not be discouraged, because we've got the power to change it by chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, practicing Nichiren Buddhism, doing our own human revolution, and devote our efforts in Kozen Rufu, and then we can create happiness for ourselves and others. So this is what I have to share today.